Hello everybody, it's the 20th of March 2022 today, and I'm going to repot this large hornbeam that I've had for many a long year. I can't believe I've never really featured this tree in a video before now, because I've probably had this tree 25 years, I would think. You can see where it had a really huge chop there. I grew it in the ground for quite a while, and it had a big chop, regrown the top. It then had a further chop here, and again at the back here somewhere, though it's not so prominent a scar obviously. So let's move you in and show you that big scar at the bottom. It has taken a very long time to heal over. In fact, it's still not fully healed over into the centre, but it'll get there gradually, eventually. And once again, red label of course meaning Repot. No traditional nibari to be seen on this one, but I still love it. I just not too fussed one way or the other. I really enjoy a good radial root system, but these sort of strange and wonderful shapes also appeal to me as well. So there we are. Okay, so let's get this out of the pot and see about giving these roots a trim. So you can see the buds are bursting nicely, and well, swollen nicely, about to burst. So now is an excellent time to do this piece of work. With the turntable, in with the tray, catch all the mud, or the muck, and soil and whatnot. This tree's going to fight me to get out, I can tell. It has been in here a while, and I think this pot, memory serves, has a lip. Yes, it does. So I'm going to have to gently dig in around the outside until I can get enough room to get this tree out of the pot. Could take a while. Finally, I think it's about to come out with a little bit of leverage. There she blows. That didn't want to come out. Okay, you see I've lost the drainage screens. They've obviously roots were tangled around those, and I've dragged them out too, so try and find those and replace them. Absolute solid mass and mat of root. So and you can see the new roots are just starting to grow away, so we're going to have to give this some chopping. Let's start by just cleaning off some of the top surface. I actually want to show off a little bit more of these chunky roots, which again, not conventional, but there you are. I still love them. Also helps to remove some of that awful moss that, if you know me, you know I don't like. That's better. That's just showing off a bit more root, and Well, root exposed is a style, I understand, and maybe this isn't quite what they had in mind, but climate change and erosion, soil erosions, all being things, doesn't seem out of context somehow. I've done these shears. These have done me a lot of service over a lot of years. I'm going to try and reduce this root ball by about a third. So I'm just going to start working my way around, removing some of the mat of root that's there. You see it's coming across in one big chunk. All that would give more room now for the tree to develop fine feeder roots in that area again, and none of that roundy round stuff which makes the tree work harder. I think in one of my other videos I compared it to using trying to drink through an ordinary sized straw, or having one that's about 10 feet long, which is easier. The tree produces its feeder roots at the end of the roots, so in those feeder roots then the tree's got to take it all the way up and around these long thick roots like a long straw. So this will get some feeder roots in closer. It's also quite handy to get out some big old chunks like this that in nature these big solid roots would hold the tree up, but wouldn't be directly involved in supplying any nutrition. These trees, well, they don't need to be held up in that same way, but they do need the nutrition, so this helps get rid of some of that wasted space in the pot. That's better. That's got rid of that fine, massive, tangled root at the bottom of the pot quite nicely. So I've cleaned the pot out, replaced the drainage screens, and now it's just a question of putting tree into pot. So I've got my batch of soil all made up in this bucket, and I'm going to start off by putting a layer in the bottom of the pot. I think that's about enough. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good fit, and maybe a little bit higher. I'm going to add some controlled release fertilizer there. Mix that in just a little bit so the roots aren't resting directly onto it, but it's still near the top layer. I want the fertilizer to run down into the pot, not out of the holes at the bottom. A little bit more on top. Let's try that again for size. A little bit high, but I can wriggle that down. At the same time, that's ensuring that the base of the soil plate, I guess, root plate, which is relatively flat, is now in full contact with that soil underneath, and that also means that I don't need to wire the tree into its pot because it's fairly stable, as you can see. So that's a little bit too central. Move it that way just a tad, and yeah, no, that's cool. I'm really happy with that position. So now all I got to do is fill in. You'll see some people advocating using chopsticks and things to make sure the soil is down the side of the root plate and that there's no air gaps. But if you have a big enough space like I have here and a flat side to your root base, because you haven't bare rooted the tree, which I didn't need to in this instance, then fingers I feel work better, because you can work this soil down into the cracks and crevices using your fingers, and you know you're not exerting too much pressure because you hurt your fingers, and you can feel when there's enough resistance that you filled that gap and there's no air pocket. A little bit more controlled release fertilizer around the top. Again, that'll wash down into the pot, not straight out the bottom. I've often seen other people on gardening shows, not necessarily bonsai, but they talk about putting this stuff in the bottom of the pot, and I just think, well, when your pot's as free draining as this bonsai soil is, you're going to lose all that goodness before the plant gets a chance to take it up. So that's my 2 penneth. What do I know? There we go. I'm happy with that. Give it a drink. The end of this hose pipe, I've just got a length of ordinary piping, partly wrapped with some wire, which just reduces the flow, which means you can be more controlled when you're watering trees. Not so much a problem with a big pot like this, but in a small bonsai pot with a small tree, freshly repotted, you don't want to be sloshing a lot of water in there and washing it straight back out of the pot. Let that drain, and we'll get it on the turntable and give it a little trim. There's the tree back in the pot, back on the turntable. Give you a quick twirl. All I'm basically wanting to do is trim off a few of these long bits, strange bits going in the wrong direction, and just pull it back in just a little bit so that it can grow it a little bit more this year. Let's move you in slightly so you can see better what I'm doing. Starting with this low branch. This piece is going straight up. I could wire it out straight, but I'm gonna instead I'm gonna trim it right back to that piece that's going in the right direction. I'm gonna take off that piece that's going straight up. Now I'm gonna take out that centre piece, that piece going up to the very end, bud there, and I'm just taking off some bits just to balance off that root, and as I say, bring it back in just a little. And remove wayward pieces going in the wrong direction. Okay, coming around to this branch, a few pieces growing upwards, and that one's going back the wrong way. In fact, I'm going to take that off to there, and that shoot can continue in that direction. As I say, I've had this tree a long time, and it's been built and rebuilt, and I kind of lost control, and I won't say I lost interest, but at one point in my life I had no real time for bonsai. What with work and children and families, etc., and trees survived or didn't, and this was one of those that did, for which I'm really pleased. So there we have it, all trimmed up, repotted, raring to go for spring. A couple of branches, or buds rather, there I hadn't spotted, but are going to grow back across the trunk, so they'll have to be got shot off. And as always, as I go around, I might see the odd bit here and there, but here's a quick 360. Let me know in the comments what you think. As I say, I don't know why I haven't featured this tree in the in a playlist of its own before, but I think it's well worth it. For another one. Thank you so much for watching. Please do take care of yourselves. Do the YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, etc. But most of all, please take care of yourselves. Stay safe.